Welcome back, CoinQuest coin collectors, history buffs, and curious minds. If you've ever come across an old nickel and wondered whether it could be worth more than just 5 cents, you're in for a treat today. We are diving deep into the fascinating story and current market value of the 1969 Jefferson 5-cent nickel. This coin might just be hiding in your change jar and could be worth a surprising amount of money. Let's start with a bit of background. The Jefferson nickel series began back in 1938. Replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel, the new design featured President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, or front of the coin, and his famous home Monticello on the reverse. The design was created by German-American sculptor Felix Schlag, who won a competition held by the United States meant to find a suitable replacement for the Buffalo nickel. Schlag's design remained mostly unchanged for decades, including the 1969 version we're talking about today. Now let's zoom in on the year 1969. This was a transitional period in American history, both politically and culturally. And while it might seem like just another year in coin production, the 1969 Jefferson nickel has more than a few surprises up its sleeve. The coin was minted in two primary locations, Philadelphia and Denver. This means you'll find two varieties: the 1969 nickel with no mint mark, which indicates it was minted in Philadelphia, and the 1969 D nickel, which was produced at the Denver Mint. Now, how many were made in 1969? The Philadelphia Mint struck over 145 million Jefferson nickels, and the Denver Mint produced over 202 million. That's a combined total of over 347 million nickels in circulation. That might make you think they're too common to be worth anything, but here's where things get interesting. Despite the high mintage numbers, not all 1969 nickels are created equal. Condition plays a massive role in a coin's value. Collectors prize coins that are in mint state, especially those that have been graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Coins in this condition have never been used in circulation and show virtually no wear, meaning they look almost as fresh as the day they left the mint. So what's the value? Let's break it down. If you've got a 1969 Jefferson nickel in circulated condition, meaning it's been used in everyday transactions, it's likely only worth face value, which is 5 cents. However, if that coin is in exceptional uncirculated condition, it could fetch anywhere from $1 to $5. And if you're lucky enough to own one that's been professionally graded at MS65 or higher, you might be looking at a value between $20 and $50 or more. But we're not done yet. There's a lot of excitement surrounding error coins from 1969. These are coins that were misstruck or have unusual features due to mistakes made during the minting process. Error coins can be extremely valuable depending on the type of error and its rarity. One of the most well-known errors to look out for is the off-center strike, where part of the design is missing because the coin was not properly aligned when it was struck. There's also the double die error, where parts of the design appear double due to a problem with the die used to stamp the coin. In fact, a few known examples of 1969 nickels with dramatic doubling have sold for hundreds of dollars in recent years. One of the most sought after error types for this coin is the 1969 D Jefferson nickel with full steps. Full steps refer to the clearly defined steps at the base of Monticello on the reverse side. If you can see all 5 or 6 steps clearly, and there are no marks or disruptions, your coin may qualify for the full steps designation. Coins with this designation are significantly more valuable because they're much harder to find. The sharpness of strike and preservation needed to show full steps is rare, especially for coins made during this period. So how do you know if your coin is valuable? First, take a good look under a magnifying glass and check for signs of doubling. Look for clarity in the lettering and numbers, and examine the steps on Monticello. If you think your coin has potential, consider sending it to a reputable grading service for a professional evaluation. Keep in mind, grading does cost money, so it's only worth doing if your coin appears to be in very high grade or has a significant error. What about current market trends? In 2025, collectors are increasingly turning their attention to coins from the mid-20th century, including Jefferson nickels, while earlier years, like the wartime nickels, with their silver content tend to get more attention. Interest in late 60s coins is on the rise. Prices for premium examples of the 1969 Jefferson nickel, especially those with full steps or certified mint state grades, have been slowly climbing in the collector market. Online auctions have seen sales ranging from $10 for high-grade raw coins all the way up to a few $100s for coins with full steps and near perfect condition. Before we wrap up, here's a quick tip: don't clean your coins. A lot of people think polishing an old nickel will make it more valuable, but the opposite is true. Cleaning a coin removes the natural patina and can leave tiny scratches that ruin the value. Collectors prefer original surfaces even if they look a little dirty. In summary, the 1969 Jefferson 5-cent nickel is a common coin with uncommon potential, while most are only worth face value. High-grade examples and rare errors can be worth real money. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone with a jar of change, it's worth taking a second look at those old nickels. You never know when you might find a hidden treasure. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin history and value, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Drop a comment below if you've ever found an interesting coin or have a 1969 nickel in your collection. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and happy collecting. We have a fascinating deep dive into the 1977 Jefferson 5-cent nickel coin, a piece of American history that many people have in their pockets or tucked away in old drawers or jars. And yet, it could be worth far more than just 5 cents if you know what to look for. We're talking value, rarity, errors, history, and current market trends, all packed into this one video. So grab a seat, maybe even grab your coin collection, because you might just have a small fortune hiding in plain sight. So first, let's start with a bit of history on the Jefferson nickel itself, which is one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. It was first minted in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and it features none other than Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States. On the obverse side, that's the front of the coin, the design was created by artist Felix Schlag, who won a national competition to design the new nickel, and his version of Monticello Jefferson's Virginia home appears on the reverse side. That's the back of the coin. Now fast forward to 1977, the year we're focusing on today. This was a year when the United States Mint was producing billions of coins, including the Jefferson nickel. It was the middle of the post-Vietnam economic era. Inflation was rising, gas prices were high, and yet the nickel remained a staple of everyday currency. In 1977, the Philadelphia and Denver mints both produced Jefferson nickels, and no coins were struck at the San Francisco Mint for general circulation, although some proof coins were made there for collectors, and we'll get into that a little later. So what makes the 1977 nickel interesting, and why are collectors and coin enthusiasts still talking about it? Well, the answer is in the details. Most of the time, a 1977 nickel might only be worth face value, which is 5 cents, but that all changes depending on a few key factors, and we'll go over each one, starting with condition, then moving on to errors and varieties, then finally talking about rarity and market demand. Let's begin with condition. Like most collectible coins, the state of preservation plays a massive role in determining value, and we use the Sheldon coin grading scale to help measure this, which ranges from poor or P1 all the way up to mint state or MS70. Now, most 1977 nickels found in circulation are heavily worn, showing lots of scratches or discoloration, and these are usually only worth face value. But if you happen to find one in uncirculated condition, that means it has never been used in everyday transactions. It could be worth a lot more. For example, a 1977 nickel graded MS65 by a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC could sell for several dollars, maybe even tens of dollars, depending on eye appeal, luster, strike quality, and market demand. Coins in MS66 or higher are even more desirable because they are less common from this year. Now let's talk about mint marks, which are little letters found on the coin that indicate where it was made in 1977. Coins from The Philadelphia Mint did not have a mint mark, while those from the Denver Mint will have a small d just to the right of Jefferson's bust. So, if you find a 1977 nickel with no mint mark, it's from Philly. If it has a d, it's from Denver. While both versions are common, the Philadelphia nickels are a bit more plentiful. But there's more to the story than just that. Errors and varieties are where things start to get really exciting. You see, during the minting process, things don't always go perfectly, and sometimes mistakes are made. Those mistakes can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's treasure. So what kinds of errors have been found on 1977 nickels? Well, let's go over a few. One of the most famous and valuable types of mint errors is a double die. This is when the coin is struck twice with slight misalignment, resulting in visible doubling of the letters or numbers. If you come across a 1977 nickel with doubling on the word liberty, the date, or the phrase "in God we trust," you might be looking at a double die error, and those coins can be worth a lot depending on how dramatic the doubling is. Some examples have sold for over $100, especially in higher grades. Another error to look for is off-center strikes. These occur when the coin is not properly aligned with the dies, and only part of the design appears on the coin. An off-center strike of just a few percent might not add much value, but if it's 10% or more, especially if the date is still visible, that could be worth $50 or more. And the farther off-center the strike is, the more it tends to be worth to collectors. There are also clipped planchet errors, which happen when a portion of the coin blank is missing before it gets struck. These often result in a crescent-shaped cut along the edge of the coin, and depending on the size and shape of the clip, these errors can also command strong premiums. Then there are die cracks, cut breaks, and strike-throughs, which are other kinds of minting mishaps that collectors find fascinating. A coin with a big die crack, for instance, might show a raised line going across part of the design, which adds character and collectability. Now let's shift to the proof coins briefly. Made at the San Francisco Mint in 1977, these were not meant for circulation, but rather for collectors, and they were struck using specially polished dies and planchets, which give them that mirror-like finish. They're usually housed in plastic holders as part of annual proof sets. If you have one of these coins, it will have an S mint mark, and while most are worth only a few dollars in top condition, some cameo and deep cameo examples, especially in perfect PR70 condition, have sold for over $100. So at this point, you might be wondering, okay, this is great, but what's the real current market value of a 1977 Jefferson nickel? Well, it all depends on what kind of coin you have. A regular worn nickel from your pocket change is still worth about 5 cents today, but a coin in uncirculated condition with strong eye appeal might sell for anywhere from $1 to $20. A coin with a recognized error could be worth $50 or more, and a certified high-grade coin from a grading service might be worth over $100 or even several hundred in the case of rare varieties. For example, one 1977 D Jefferson nickel graded MS67 by PCGS sold at auction for over $200, and that's because it was one of the finest known examples from that mint and year-end. Collectors always want the best examples for their registry sets. The rarer the condition, the higher the price, and that trend continues today, especially as more people get into coin collecting through online marketplaces. Speaking of which, if you're looking to sell or buy a 1977 nickel, be sure to use trusted platforms like eBay, Heritage Auctions, Great Collections, or even local coin dealers, but always check the recent sales history for coins in similar grade and type to get an idea of current market value. Prices can fluctuate over time based on demand, silver prices, and collector interest, so it pays to do your homework. So to wrap things up, the 1977 Jefferson nickel is more than just a common coin. It's a window into American history, and it could be a hidden treasure in your change jar, especially if you find a coin in high grade or with an unusual error. Who would have thought that a simple nickel could turn into a valuable collectible worth $5,100 or even $200 and maybe more in the future? That's why it's always worth taking a closer look at your change. You never know what hidden gems you might discover, and with just a little bit of knowledge and attention to detail, you could turn ordinary coins into an extraordinary collection. Thanks for watching, And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin collecting videos, and share this with your fellow collectors or anyone who might have a handful of nickels lying around. We'll see you next time with another story from the world of coins. Until then, happy collecting and keep your eyes open for hidden treasures. We are talking about a coin that many people overlook, but could be worth a surprising amount of money if you know what to look for. We are talking about the 1989 Jefferson nickel. Yes, the 5-cent piece that was minted in huge numbers back in the late 80s. At first glance, it may seem like just another regular coin, but let's go deeper and explore the rich history behind it, the variations that make some versions extremely valuable, and the current market prices that collectors are paying right now. First off, let's talk a little bit about the design and background of the Jefferson nickel. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It features the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, on the obverse, or front side of the coin. The portrait was designed by Felix Schlag, and his work has been seen on billions of nickels over the years. On the reverse side of the coin, we have Monticello Jefferson's historic home located in Virginia. This design remained largely unchanged until the Westward Journey series in the early 2000s. Now let's focus in on the 1989 Jefferson nickel in particular. This coin was minted at two locations, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The Philadelphia coins do not carry a mint mark, while the Denver coins are marked with a small letter D on the right side of the Monticello building. In 1989, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 600 million nickels, while the Denver Mint produced more than 500 million. That is a lot of coins. So you might be asking yourself, with so many produced, why would any of them be valuable? Great question. The answer lies in condition errors and high-grade specimens. Let's talk about condition first. Like with most coins, the value of a 1989 Jefferson nickel depends heavily on its grade. Grading is the process of evaluating a coin's condition using a standardized scale from 1 to 70 known as the Sheldon scale. Coins that are worn from circulation typically grade around 5 to 20. But coins that are uncirculated and have never been used in everyday transactions can grade upwards of 60 to 70. The highest value comes from coins graded MS66, MS67, or even MS68 by trusted grading companies like PCGS or NGC. MS stands for mint state, which means the coin has no wear and looks almost exactly as it did the day it was minted. Now here is where it gets exciting. While a regular 1989 nickel in pocket change might only be worth its face value of 5 cents, collectors will pay a premium for coins in mint condition. A 1989 D Jefferson nickel graded MS66 has sold for over $100. One in MS67 condition can go for as high as $300 or more. The 1989 P version also commands similar prices in high grades, with MS67 examples selling for $200 to $400 depending on the quality, luster, and eye appeal. And if you happen to come across a full steps version, that is a real jackpot. Full steps refers to the detail on the steps of the Monticello building. If the steps are fully struck and show all lines clearly with no breaks, that coin is considered much more valuable. Full steps examples in high grade can bring in over $1,000 in auction. Now let's talk about errors and varieties. Error coins are a fascinating area of coin collecting, and the 1989 Jefferson nickel has a few to watch out for. Some known errors include off-center strikes where the image is not aligned properly, double die errors, where the design appears slightly doubled, and coins struck on the wrong planchet, which means the blank metal disc was meant for a different denomination. These error coins are highly sought after by collectors and can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the rarity and visual impact of the error. Another factor that affects value is population. In coin collecting, the term population refers to how many coins have been graded at a certain level by professional grading services. The fewer high-grade examples that exist, the more valuable your coin might be. So a 1989 nickel in MS67 condition might be worth more if only a handful have been graded that high. Collectors pay close attention to population reports, which are updated regularly and provide insights into which coins are rare in top grades. So, how can you tell if your 1989 nickel is worth something? First, grab a magnifying glass and examine the coin under good lighting. Look for sharp details, clean surfaces, and no scratches or dings. Pay special attention to the steps on Monticello to see if they are complete. Then compare your coin to online resources or submit it to a grading service if you believe it may be a high-value specimen. Keep in mind that grading services charge a fee, so it's best to reserve that option for coins that appear to be in excellent condition. Let's talk about current market trends. As of this year, high-grade Jefferson nickels from 1989 continue to rise in value, especially those with full steps and certified MS67 or higher. The demand for quality nickels has increased as collectors look to complete their sets with the best examples available. Online auction sites, coin shows, and dealer shops all report a healthy interest in this particular year. Many collectors underestimated the value of modern era nickels, but the market has proven otherwise. So keep checking your change and coin jars, because you never know what you might find. To recap, the 1989 Jefferson nickel may seem common at first, but under the right circumstances it can be worth a significant amount of money. Whether it's a pristine high-grade mint state coin, a full steps variety, or a rare minting error, there is real value to be found in this humble 5-cent piece. If you have a 1989 nickel at home, take a closer look. It might just be a small treasure hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin videos, and let us know in the comments if you've ever found a valuable coin in your change. Until next time, keep collecting, keep learning, and keep searching for those hidden gems.